Maurice, who's based in the US and says hi to you. Hopefully you see him on the screen. This is Andres Bonet, and I'm the founder of SpeakerHub. And we just wanted to say hi. That's why we have the camera on. So you see our faces, you see our studios or respective offices. But in order to focus on the presentation, we'll turn the cameras off so you have a chance to see the slides. And Mo will be sharing with us a lot of ideas about creating a tribe of fanatics for your speaker brand. And having done our quick introduction and a visual introduction, I'll turn the cameras off and then move to the slides because we want to make sure we respect it. And Mo, I'd suggest to turn off the cameras as well, and then we can get started with the presentation. While that's happening, a few words before we get started is that you're very welcome and encouraged to ask questions right here in the webinar platform in the chat box. And if there are questions that we don't have time or the ability to answer right away, we'll follow it up through email. And then the webinar recording will be shared with you. So will be the slides within a few days. And we're also doing a transcript. So you'll be able to read all the wisdom and the insights that Mo will be sharing with us. So without any further ado, I'll pass the floor to our speaker today. Mo, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Andres. I really appreciate that, those kind words. And man, I am excited to be here. It is so good to be able to share with everybody here today. Oh man, this is going to be really, really good. I'm pumped up about this because I love talking about tribes. I love sharing about this because this is probably one of the most revolutionary concepts that I get to teach others. This is something that really goes back very far, from fan-based development to cultural influence. This is tribes. If you can, as a speaker, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, if you can grab this concept of tribes, man, you can really do some awesome things. I really want to thank you, Andres, for asking me to be a part of these master classes that are going on with SpeakerHub. SpeakerHub, you guys are really great. I appreciate the patience that you guys have shown. I know that dealing with a bunch of speakers is probably like a special thanks to Miss Esther, who at the last minute really rescued me from some technical issues. So, man, I love you guys. I really appreciate how you guys have put this together and the level of excellence that you do this with. So thank you so much for that. Man, I want to just really let you know that this is going to be very quick, a lot of information. So you're going to want to, when the transcripts are made available or the recording, you're definitely going to want to get that because we're going to give you a lot of stuff, a lot of concepts really quick. One of the things that I hate about webinars when I get on them is sometimes it seems like it's just a lot of fluff, right? And so it isn't always the speaker's fault that that happens. Sometimes it's just that they're giving a summary. They're giving a bird's eye view. And so those who are more advanced tend to get frustrated. And then sometimes it's too much content in there. It's too deep that people who are just getting started miss the point. So I'm going to try my best to, in the next 25 minutes, give you a sweet spot where it's going to be a bird's eye view, an overview. I'm going to talk about a lot of things. But then at the end, I'm going to give you a 5-step action plan that you can take. 5 steps that you can take to actually make this happen and start to build your tribe. So hang tight, get your notes. If you have paper, pen, pull out notepad or your phone or however you do that, because this is happening right now, guys. This is for real. This is not a drill. Okay, so today we are talking about creating a tribe of fanatics specifically for your speaking brand. And this is important because one of the things that I share with the students that I mentor is that as speakers, you're not just getting on a stage, you're not just at a platform or a podium, you're not just on your podcast or whatever it may be, but you are an entrepreneur, you're a business owner. And by focusing on these other aspects of business, you will begin to leverage both the value that you're able to provide by multiplying as a force multiplier how much and how many people you can help. And at the same time, you're naturally, because you're providing value, going to be able to exponentially multiply your profitability, which is important because we have to pay the bills and we have to be able to grow. So again, this is live. So there's a chat box over here. Go ahead and ask some questions. Andres has permission to jump in and interrupt me in the middle of this conversation if you post a pressing question. So feel free to let him know, say, hey, Mo, we need to know this, stop talking, answer this question. And remember that over the course of the next week, I'll be recording and slides. So you'll get to see the very same slides, you'll get to hear the recording, and then in a couple weeks, you guys will get a transcript of that. So you don't have to worry about that. Some of you guys who are note takers, hello, all you people out there, Anderson in Texas, Bernadette in Georgia, Karen, North Dakota, oh, Aruba, hey, Stan, we see you guys out there. Appreciate you coming on here. I love my job, man. I love seeing people from all over the world. You guys are amazing. If you don't know, my name is Maurice W. Evans, and we are friends now, so feel free to call me Mo. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. And today I am going to be explaining to you how to create a tribe of fanatics. I am a viral marketing expert, and as some people know, I'm a life coach and a pastor. I'm also certified by J. Conrad Levinson as a guerrilla marketing trainer and by John Maxwell as a leadership trainer. Just a quick little blurb about us. iGrowYourBiz.com is kind of our parent company where you can check out pretty much everything that we do. A lot of it has to do with me, but we have a brand new site in development that's called Platform Toolkit, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But if you want to reach me, iGrowYourBiz.com. We're iGrowYourBiz everywhere, on Instagram, on Facebook, on MySpace. If there is such a thing, is MySpace even around anymore? I don't know. But we're iGrowYourBiz everywhere. So if you are on any social media, just find iGrowYourBiz. You'll find us. And we're happy to help you. Some quick fun facts about me. Some people like to know these little tidbits. I started my first business when I was 8 years old. And I wrote my first ad copy to sell information products nationally through magazines back in 1982. I learned all of my entrepreneurial skills initially. And most importantly, tribe development. Well, it was called fan-based development back then. From my mother, who was a Motown era singer. She sung for the Crystals, the Marvelettes. People know the song, Hey, Mr. Postman. That song, I can't sing, so I'm not going to sing. And of course, I am married to my lovely wife. Hello, baby, I love you. And she's super awesome. I always shout her out in whatever I do. Now, Platform Toolkit, that site's in development, but platformtoolkit@gmail.com is, I'll have something special for you. I'll tell you about that at the end, right before we get to the Q&A. But that's enough about me, because you guys did not come here to listen to me, right? You guys want to hear about tribes. So let me give you the overview of that. Tribalism, sometimes we think of tribal tattoos, sometimes we think of an aboriginal or a native group in a particular country, but tribes really just has to do, if you want to think of it another way, as your fan base. But it is an empowered fan base, and it is a fan base that is based off of an activation from you. We know this guy right here. He's The Rock, and The Rock has a huge fan base. In fact, Hollywood has been very keen on him lately because of his ability to drive fans, because of his ability to bring his fans into whatever movie he happens to be in. He was a professional wrestler. So I like The Rock. You know, him and I, some people say we look alike. You'll kind of see that in a little bit. But tribes are very powerful no matter what it is you do. And as speakers, sometimes we miss this fact that our tribe is important, that it is important for us to develop and cultivate our own tribe, that we have control of our tribe, that we don't just count on the people who are hiring us to speak to handle all the marketing and handle all the promotion and, in a sense, control our celebrity and our fame. A lot of speakers struggle because they're trying to break past a certain barrier in their success. Maybe they're not speaking full-time yet. Maybe they are speaking full-time, but they haven't made it to 5 figures a month yet. Or maybe they haven't made it to 6 figures a month yet, right? Sometimes they're trying to make it to that 7 or 8 figures a year. And I can tell you that one of the most powerful solutions that will eliminate this challenge that you face is tribe development. You can create a tribe of fanatical people that are into you and into your message. You're going to see change. Here's what's interesting. Some people think that this is complicated. Some people think, they look at somebody like, say, my mentor, John Maxwell, or they look at Tony Robbins and say, man, those guys are huge. But these guys, first of all, they've been around for a very, very, very long time. But second of all, their tribe development is intentional. And so if we can become, as speakers, more intentional about developing our tribe, then what happens is we are able to see exponential change in our exposure, in our response, in the number of gigs that we get, in the amount of money that we get paid. It is amazing. So I'm just one of those people that I believe that we should work smart versus working hard. Some people confuse busyness with actual productivity. Being busy is not being productive, right? Some people, we get into this with so much activity. Activity is not the same as accomplishment. There's a difference. And so these guys here, somebody's offering them, hey, here's a more efficient way for you guys to get around. Oh, no, thanks. We're too busy, right? I say, let's work smart rather than working hard. Working smart just simply means working hard at the right thing. You still have the same goal. You're still doing things. It's just the manner in which you go about doing it that makes the difference. So let's work smart rather than working hard towards building our tribes. And I think one of the biggest myths about the speaking thing, because there's so much of a creative and imaginative element to each speaker, has a different style and a different method and a different stage presence, a different way that they handle themselves, and how exciting and entertaining and all these things. So we get caught in the entertainment and the art side of it. But the reality is, when we're talking about our personal success, we're talking about our personal development, when we're talking about being entrepreneurs, this is so much more science than it is art. Science is good and art is good. Separate, they're not necessarily that good. But there is a science to becoming a highly paid speaker, and your art just makes it better. Your art is just icing on the cake. Here's the good thing about science versus art. If you look at Tony Robbins, if you look at John Maxwell, if you look at your favorite speaker and you see them and you look at just the art, it's going to be very difficult to reproduce and duplicate what they do, because you're not them and your style is not theirs and you don't have their creativity and their artistic ability. And it's really easy to get discouraged and frustrated. Oh man, I could never be like that. That's not true, because you're looking at just the art. When you look at the science, this side right here, science side, that is the side that is reproducible. Why? Because science has to do with formulas. Science is based off of logic. Science is something that can be recreated. Science is so simple that you can have toy science, right? You can give a science kit to a child, and if a child follows those directions, then they will be able to make the colors change, make the water boil, make it turn to crystals, whatever it is the experiment may be, they're able to do that. Why? Because they follow the formula. Another word for formula is a recipe. Now, you may not be a good cook, but almost anyone who can follow directions can follow a recipe. You just get yourself a bowl and you put in the butter and the sugar and the eggs and the milk and the flour, mix it all together, you put it in the tin, you bake it. That's it. That's all it takes. Now, some people want to add raisins and walnuts into the mix. Some people later on have multiple layers of icing. Some people top it with strawberries. See, that's the art part. But the basic, the science of it, to get a good chocolate cake, man, anybody can make that by using the basic formula, the basic recipe. So this is the same with your success as an entrepreneur. I want you to get this principle, because you may think that this is unrelated, but the reality is when it comes to building your tribe, it's also a recipe. It's also a formula. And when you understand that your success is based off how intentionally you do the basics of the formula, and then you add your art on top of the science, that is what turns you into that high-paid speaker. That's what turns you into that well-known speaker. That's what turns you an in-demand speaker, right? Man, I'm getting fired up. I don't know if you're fired up. You should be excited over there. Can you smell what the rock is cooking or the Mo is cooking? Remember I said that we get confused a lot? That's me. That's an actual picture. That really is me. I look. If you see me in person, that's exactly how I look. You can see the tie, right? This is my actual tie right there. That's actually my face. The body's the rocks, but you know, you can see how we can be confused, right? Listen, I want to warn you. I don't want anybody to get upset here. There's a lot of people here, and some people get upset over what's happening. I'm just kidding about the blood and the gore. There's no dead bodies, but this topic sometimes is sensitive for people. I don't want you to get upset about the topic. I want you to get the content, because I'm going to share with you a couple of examples of exactly how tribalism has impacted the world, whether you're a part of this tribe or not, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, okay? I want to be respectful here with this next slide, and that's why I was warning here, to remind me to warn you, because I discovered something that is offensive to some people for different reasons. And so this person that I'm about to show, according to the people a part of this tribe, you are not supposed to show a picture of this individual. So, because we don't want to show a picture of this individual, I'm going to show you somebody with the same name who's similar. Okay? This guy right here, Muhammad Ali, great boxer worldwide. Everybody knows him. But I'm talking about this guy, the Prophet Muhammad, who in the Quran started the religion of Islam. Now, why is he important? Because he started a political movement and a political change, and a couple thousand years ago he did this, and there's a huge tribe of Muslims to this day as a result of this guy Muhammad. Let me tell you about another tribe. This guy right here, Martin Luther. Now, Martin Luther, back in almost 500 years ago, on October 31st, 1517, he created something called the Disputation on the Power and Efficacy of Indulgences, also known as 95, right? Basically, he put some questions and some propositions. He went to the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church and hammered this on there, and this changed culture for the last 2,000 years. He protested against the Roman Catholic Church, and those people, these protesters, these Protestants, are now known as Protestants all over the world because of this guy, Martin Luther, started a new tribe. His tribe came from this guy right here. Well, not this guy, an earlier guy, but a guy like him, the Pope, the Roman Catholic tribe. Again, guys, don't get caught up on the fact we're talking about religion here. I want you to pay attention to what's happening. The Pope is the guy for the Roman Catholics. But just like Martin Luther, the Pope is an offshoot of the Orthodox Church, right? Roman Catholic Church. And the Roman Catholic Church started from another guy 2,000 years ago. Roman Catholics, Orthodox, Protestants, all go back to this guy, Jesus. Now, this picture actually came from a Lutheran church. who they still follow the exact traditions of Martin Luther, right? And this is a picture of Jesus. Well, it's an artistic impression of him. We don't have a photograph of him, right? So Jesus, again, started from the Jewish religion, Jewish tradition. He started this religion of followers of the way, right? And then Paul expanded that and they became Christians, right? Here's what I want you to realize, that for thousands of years, all of these guys, these are separate tribes. You may be a part of one, you may not be a part of one, you might not care about them, you might not believe in them, you might hate them. Doesn't matter. The fact is, there's a ton of them. And they started as a result of a tribe. Every tribe starts with a chief. Every single tribe, no matter what it is, it has to have a chief. And so if that's you, but don't think that it's organic. Don't think that being the chief is just because you're the person who started it. There are many instances of tribes that have lost their chief and then they break up and they split up, right? This guy right here, I like him. He is Chief Iron Tail, right? So you might call him Chief Hard Ass. He's a tough guy, right? I love his name. This guy was strong in his particular tribe. You have to do that. You have to be strong. You have to be able to be the alpha leader for your tribe. If you're going to
interject for a second, just to interject for 1 second. And I think that I think a lot of people would think that you need to sort of find the ones who will follow you, and then you will become that leader, or you're going to be that sort of tribe leader. And I think that for a speaker, finding your brand and finding your identity and finding your niche is the one which is going to bring those followers on, and not the other way around. So it's finding the unique message that you're putting out there that can make your speaker brand stand out as a result. Would you agree?
Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely correct. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing. You have to know the mission that you're putting forth. You have to be clear on your brand, right? And this is what we're getting into now, because the brand of who you are determines who aligns with your tribe, right? Again, I'm sorry for the people who got offended because I talked about some religious folk, but these are the largest tribes that are out there, okay? People follow those brands. People follow those tribes. You may or may not. It's okay. The thing about it is that...
Sorry, because there's a tiny time lag, hence it seems I'm interrupting, which I hope I'm not doing, but because of the voice.
You're good.
But I wanted to ask you, so how do you find your not necessarily just the followers, and I know you will talk about that, but how do you find your unique topic, your unique brand, your unique angle?
So your unique brand and your unique angle has to do a lot with your story, right? Your experience, who you are, what you have come through. Most of the time, people don't recognize their own brand because they have self-limiting beliefs. They don't realize that they are valuable. Whatever education, whatever experience, whatever life lessons that you have learned, whatever certifications you have, whatever topic you're focusing on, whatever it is, your story is valuable, and therefore your voice is valuable, because your story may be just a thing that somebody needs, and not everybody's going to connect with your story, and that is okay. The people who connect with you, the people who connect with your story, are going to become the ideal people to incorporate into your tribe. What happens is we attract people who are like ourselves, right?
Why don't we move on to the tribe creation, because I understand from the audience that they'd like to see the specific steps.
Absolutely. We'll get to that. Let's get to this next piece here, and then we'll get right into that. This foundation, I know people want to just jump to the steps, but this foundation is important, because otherwise you're not going to be able to do the steps. This could be 3 seconds long if I just listed the 5 steps, right? But what we want to do is we want them to understand those steps. This piece right here, being intentional about being the leader is part of the first step. If you don't understand this alpha leader part, if you don't understand that every tribe has the alpha leader, when I give you step one, you won't be able to do it. Because you're going to say, well, how do we do that? And then we'll come right back to here, right? So this alpha leader, super important. Here's the old way and the common way. What most people think is the way to do things, and this is not how you do it. So let's look at this right here. Most people think that it's all about getting a crowd. This is just an average everyday street. There's a crowd of people who say, oh, there's a crowd. From that crowd, I am going to be able to do some things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this crowd into an audience. Well, then that forces you to do one thing. That forces you to begin to broadcast. Okay? And that's fine. If you're broadcasting to an audience, then they just leave and they just go become an audience to the next broadcast. There is not a foundation of tribalism there, and so there's not the fanaticism. Fanaticism is the important part of tribe, that people have to be fans of who you are, fans of what you talk about. Talk to somebody who likes Tony Robbins, and they're going to tell you about his new show on Netflix, and they're going to quote him, and they're going to John Maxwell, they're going to share with you what John Maxwell said. So-and-so says this, and they say it with authority. Why? Because they're fanatics and they're part of that tribe. If you're a Maxwellian, everybody knows it. This is important because this is not the same as broadcasting to an audience. So let's scratch out the old way, right? Let's forget about that, and let's go to this new way. Tribalism. You start with the same crowd of people. Right? It's always going to start with the crowd. You're going to need to find some people. But once you find those people, instead of turning them into an audience, you want to turn them into a community. There's a subtle difference, but this is a huge difference. I see people do this all the time. I see people talk about all the things that they want to offer as a speaker, but they miss creating a community. If you create a community, that is not the same as turning a crowd into an audience. And so you don't broadcast to a community. Instead, it looks a little bit different. Here's what it looks like. And this is for those of you who've been waiting on the meat. Here it is. Introduction to the meat and then the steps, all right? Give me, we have 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. I guarantee you, you're going to look at this and say, thank you. I appreciate that. This is what it looks like. Interaction. Interaction is what turns a crowd into community. If you stand up in the middle of the crowd with your bullhorn, you're going to get an audience, and people are going to listen, and they're going to go about their business. If you get in the middle of the crowd and you start shaking hands, and you start learning people's names, and you start asking them about themselves, that is interaction. And you will begin to find that there is a common thread with some of the people that you meet. And not only with the people you meet, that they have common threads with each other. And so the common threads that you have with each other and that you have with them, then you formed community. But you don't want this to be an open community. This is why it's important to turn that community into a tribe. And that is a result of you being that alpha. And this is what you were talking about, Idris, is that as that alpha, your tribe has to have a mission. There's got to be something that you guys are doing, right? And this mission has to be based on philosophical values. And all of those values in that mission is built on the vision of the alpha. Now, some of you guys got offended, but I'm proud of you guys who stuck through it, because now you see why I spoke about religion, because they all have philosophical values. They all have a specific mission that they're trying to accomplish, and it's all built on the vision of one individual who took an action.
If I may interject for a second, and again, sorry I interrupted, and I'm certainly no religious leader, and I'm definitely not The Rock, but I absolutely agree with you, and I appreciate you sharing this insight, because, well, we at SpeakerHub trying to do the same of connecting speakers with each other and bringing a community, because I think there are some organizations out there, and very often bureaus, there are obviously good examples and exceptions, but a lot of bureaus do that, where they would expect speakers or their associates to sort of broadcast messages, or they themselves would broadcast messages. And I think this has really changed a lot, just as you say that in terms of marketing, and marketing yourself as a brand and as a speaker, you don't just shoot an email or post something without looking at the reactions, without trying to help others or trying to be that sort of, what is the word? Like that cogwheel, in a good sense, that cogwheel
Right.
where that
Right.
helps others achieve their goals.
Right. Absolutely. Man, you are hitting on it, Andres. You are getting it. That is what I'm talking about. This is exactly the point. You've got to see that difference. And this is why I love what you guys are doing at SpeakerHub, because you are living this. You are creating and building community, right? From the community will come tribe. Not everybody's going to be on the SpeakerHub tribe, but your tribe expands into the community. And your tribe influences the greater community. And the community is just people who have interest from the crowd. It's this intentionality about building community and doing it from a place you guys have a clear vision, you guys have a clear mission and clear philosophy, right? And so, Andres, you might not be the Rock, you might not be a religious leader, but you're doing the same things that the Rock and religious leaders have done. It works. We know it works, and it works for the long term. That people will tap into your vision because they share those philosophical values, right? And then they'll become a part of your mission. And so the other element of this is that there's social identities, that people begin to identify socially with the tribe. They call themselves someone based off of the alpha or based off of the tribe name or insignia. Right? That people begin to take their individuality and their identity begins to get absorbed in the part of, hey, this is us. This is who we are. That's why you got to have that mission. That's why you got to have that vision. That's why you got to understand your brand's identity, right? So here's the perfect example of how we see this from a marketing perspective, because, okay, you see religion and entertainment, but sports teams are great examples, right? Sports teams have unity of the players, and all the players are identified because they have team colors, and the team has a logo or insignia. There's a specific name that the team has, right? They may even have a mascot. And so this is important because not only does the team use these social identifiers, but so do the fans. Hey, this is my team. I'm going to wear the jersey. I never get on the field, but I'm still wearing the jersey, right? I have the posters. I have the flags. I represent this team. And so we see that tribes for teams are super fanatics. And there's tribal competition that comes with that, right? Which just makes them drive deeper into who they are. If you considered yourself as a sports team, if you consider yourself from the perspective of the Rock and entertainer, or from a religious leader, if you recognize the principle, not the thing that they're doing or the industry that they're in, but understand the recipe, understand the formula, then what you're going to see is that you can reproduce this. Do you have an insignia or a logo? Are there brand colors? Do you have a mascot? Do you have a phrase? Is there a name that people can call themselves by? Right? These are some things that you can do as a part of your brand so that you're not just the speaker that came and left, but that now there is a part of the tribe, right?
Well, yeah. Oh, here's a question. And I think this is a very important point where the tribe needs to have an identity, and you're driving that point very well to say a tribe cannot exist, even like for a speaker topic is not enough, but you need to be the one discussing it with the community in a recognizable way. So if, let's say,
Absolutely.
You're a speaker on anti-bullying and you talk in
Right.
schools or you talk in colleges, it's not enough just to talk about this as such, but you try to be the one who addresses a very specific topic, and people will identify not just with your message, but with the idea of
Yes.
the brand that you're creating around it.
That's right. The philosophy of the brand, right? If I can tie in with the philosophy of the brand, I'm going to get behind the mission of the brand, and then I'm going to follow the vision of the brand, the vision being presented by the alpha of the tribe, the chief of the tribe, right? People will begin to follow. This is important because I'm telling you, if you understand all of this, what I've just said to you, when I'm going to give you these 5 steps, I'm just going to run through the 5 steps. I'm just going to list them, and that's going to be it. But you'll be able to put all of this together in how to do that. So if you're talking about anti-bullying, then you want to make sure that, you know, you have some tools that are able to help people, that you have interaction opportunities for people to get together and talk about solutions, because your tribe will police itself. Your tribe will provide content that you could never come up with creatively. They're going to give you real world, on the ground examples of what's happening in your mission, right? You may specialize in, anti-bullying for those who are LGBT, or anti-bullying for those who have a disability, or anti-bullying for those who are whatever, right? Or who are overweight. Whatever it may be, if you can, the stronger you can make that tribe have its own identity, their identity will merge, and they'll look to you for direction. And that's why we speak. We're not speaking just to hear ourselves talk. We're speaking because we're trying to add value. We're trying to help people. We're trying to see people become better, become more, achieve more, right? And get healed and get healthy, and all the things that we speak on, right? We're providing value. And the way to truly provide value is to have a tribe that intrinsically understands this value, whether they're the recipient of the value or whether they're a promoter of that value. Because some people don't necessarily need what you have to offer, but they're willing to promote it to others who do, right?
That's another interesting point. Sorry to interrupt. So that's another interesting point where a tribe, very often what happens, and this is what I get from your messages, is that if you pick a topic and you pick your niche, where it's not only you speaking about it, so it's others will sort of spread that message. On a more technical note, we need to advance with the slides because we only have a few minutes left, and a few questions are coming in. So
well,
if we could,
the good thing is we are here. How to do it in 5 steps, and I will do that in 1 minute, because you just need to know the steps, because that's why I give you all the background, so that you have the recipe and you know how to use the ingredients. How to do this in 5 steps. Here's how to build your tribe, guys. Ready? The moment of truth. It's really, really simple, okay? First thing you do is demand authority. You will respect my authority. No, don't. That's Cartman. Don't do like that guy. Don't demand it. Build authority, okay? How do you build authority? Well, you become a thought leader, right? You start providing good content out there. You add value to people wherever you go, whatever you do as a speaker. You add value to the people even beyond the presentation, right? And partner with other people who have authority, because you can ride their coattails. You can get some of their authority, right? So you begin to, step 1 is to begin to build your authority. As you build your authority, then you do step 2, which is gain exposure. We know a lot of ways. You do that through the news media. You do that every time you get on the stage. You do that through social media. Social media makes it really easy to gain exposure, right? Step 3 is to cast vision. You want to always be casting your vision, but you have to have a vision, right? And your vision has to be tied to that philosophy, and then that philosophy has to be a part of a mission that you have for your particular tribe. You can't just randomly vision cast. You have to have a specific vision that you're casting so that people can rally around this vision. If you don't have a vision, then people are just going to die and fall away, okay? That's super important. Then, step 4, you just mobilize your tribe. I mean, this is the why of this whole thing, is you having the ability to mobilize the tribe. The benefit of this is, listen, let's say you want to speak somewhere. There's an X coming up. If you have a tribe that you can mobilize, then you can have 100 people, 1,000 people, even just a dozen people call and say, hey, I'd like to see this speaker there. How powerful is that when you have people requesting you? How about that when somebody wants to hire you and they say, well, your fee is a little expensive, we don't know if you're worth it, then you go ahead and you get your tribe to send them 1,000 emails or 1,000 tweets or 1,000 Facebook, right? When you mobilize your tribe to go buy your book, you become a bestseller, okay? Mobilizing the tribe can only happen if you've done the other 3 steps. And after you mobilize the tribe, well, then it's easy to monetize the tribe. So one of the things that I do every year, and next year I'm probably going to increase it 3 or 4, I have small group mastermind. It's $25,000 to meet with me. But I only get about 10 people. We spend some intensive time, about 3 days together, and it's awesome. But you know what? These are people that come from my tribe. These are people who will pay me $25,000. They know it's worth it. And guess what? At 10 people, that's $250,000. Now, it's an intense 3. I mean, I'm spent at the end of it. I'm giving all kinds of things. But the point is, I've monetized this tribe that I've mobilized, my personal tribe. So this is irrelevant from whether or not anybody decides to pay my speaking fee, right? This is separate from anything that I do from e-courses or e-books or these kinds of things, right? This all comes down to you being able to build authority, gain exposure, cash vision, mobilize the tribe, and then that enables you to monetize the tribe. And tribes is what will make you more in demand and make you more valuable and make you more profitable. So I know we had questions, so we are here. We're Q&A time, and we still got 20 minutes, guys. So then we'll be at a full hour. It's not that bad.
We're actually going to have just 5 minutes because we need to wrap up after 45 minutes, as it was announced.
Oh, I thought it was an hour. Okay.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes, but that's perfectly fine. Here's one question about the tribe. So, which speaker do you think is a good example of building and leading a tribe effectively? You mentioned some of them, but let's hear what.
Yeah, I love my mentor John Maxwell, because this is something that we show them how to develop legacy. Right? There's a point where you can start having people speak your content, where you can certify people to do what you do if they've gone through the training with you, if they've become a part of your tribe and shown themselves to be leaders in your tribe, right? I believe in that reproduction piece, because that's kind of a leadership piece. Yeah, I have a bent towards leadership. Yeah, I have a bent towards marketing. Yeah, I have a bent towards spirituality. That's who I am. I don't apologize for that, because that's who I am, and you should not apologize for who you are and what you do. Your tribe is going to follow you. So rather than looking at who is doing a tribe, because Tony Robbins does it different than John Maxwell, who did it different than my other mentor, J. Conrad Levinson, right? They do it different than Jim Rohn did it. They all do it different than Tony Evans. Different people have a different manner. That's the art side, right? The science side is always the same. The science side has to do with your vision. The science side has to do with your mission and your purpose and your philosophical beliefs. That's the science of, and everybody on this call can do that. Every single person can.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate your insights. And as we said, we're going to be sharing the slides with you. So those of you who are interested in the 5 steps and other elements of Mo's vision and ideas can definitely review that. And I think the whole concept of building a tribe and then understanding that it's not about you selling something, but trying to create a community where that's ultimately going to speak for you and that sees you as a thought leader is the key takeaway. It's really about making yourself so unique as to have others speak for you and finding that topic that can work.
Andres, what you just said,
give justice about the...
Yeah, because having others speak for you means you don't have to sell. It means they will sell for you. See, the tribe will sell your stuff for you. Your tribe, even if they haven't bought, will sell your stuff. Think about how many people recommend somebody go to a Tony Robbins conference but have never been to one themselves, right? You don't ever have to sell if you've created a tribe, because as you said, they speak for you. Why? Because they understand the philosophy. And so you put them on mission. You mobilize them. And so you monetize them, because whatever it is that you have to offer that's of value, they're promoting you. They're making your name bigger. They're promoting your books. They're buying books for people, recommending books, recommending conferences, right? These are the things that your tribe does on your behalf. That's the power of a tribe. An audience doesn't do that. An audience is a consumer. Your tribe are promoters. They're on your team. They will defend you. If somebody attacks you, your tribe defends you. If somebody comes against you, your tribe polices them. If somebody has an interest and a need, your tribe makes the offer for you. That's the power of tribes.
Correct. I think that's a very good summary and a good final point in this. So if anyone would like to get in touch with Mo or us, please feel free to reach out and contact either Mo directly or us, and we'll be happy to connect you with him. And then with that in mind, we invite you for our next session, which is on the 26th of October, where we'll be talking about creating a lasting business impact with your talks. That's probably the next step after you've followed Mo's 5 steps, and that gives your speech a longer shelf life and a longer or better visibility. And we'll be discussing how to do that with a lot of actionable ideas. So once again, Mo, thanks very much for being here with us, and everyone else who joined this call from all over the world. We truly appreciate that. And as I said, we'll be sharing a lot of information as a follow-up. Thank you, Mo, for your time. Truly appreciate that.
Thank you very much. And I'm actually willing to offer anyone a free 15-minute session if you'll hit me at there on the bottom, the early notification list. Platformtool@gmail.com. I'll give you a free 15 minutes if you want some more information on this. We can do a phone or a Skype. And I'll also send you a little booklet on how to build your tribe. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I love my job. I love you guys. Remember to picture your success.
Excellent. Thanks so much again.
Thank you, Andres. You guys are great.